31% of young children think that Muslims are taking over the country. 56% believe that Islam is a threat to Western liberal democracy. I was attacked when I was walking home from school, where a group of girls ripped off my hijab and called me derogatory words. When I was at university, I had lecturers saying that Muslims who fully believe in their faith shouldn't be allowed entry into university. Gendered Islamophobia is the experience that Muslim women have being at the intersections of two different identities, so being women and being Muslim. A lot of Islamophobia, the way that it is produced, the way that it is packaged, is often targeted towards women. And this is because of their dress, this is because of this idea that Muslim women are oppressed by people in their own community, this idea that there is an extra level of misogyny within Muslim communities, all of which does not make sense. These attacks are highly personalized. They depend on people making an identification of Muslim women and then targeting them and punishing them for their identity. Women in West Yorkshire who wear the niqab have had letters threatening acid attacks sent through their letterboxes. Boris Johnson has penned articles comparing them to letterboxes. This dehumanization and erosion of a Muslim woman's right to exist in public space is a perfect example of the kind of gendered Islamophobia that we face in society. Muslim women have long witnessed their choice of dress being dragged into national conversations, being debated without them. In a mix of sexist and racist commentary, the far right have always exploited Muslim women and their issues in order to gain further ground. This strain of gendered Islamophobia tries to convince Muslim women that their bodies belong not to themselves but to others to liberate. Whether this takes the historic form of public unveiling ceremonies in colonial Algeria, whether it's the protests that the EDL bring to the cities like Bradford, whether it's articles in newspapers calling the niqab oppressive, the message is very clear. We can't ignore how politicians and media fuel hate crime. Research has consistently shown that a binary image of Muslim women in public discourse creates a fertile ground for discrimination. This pits Islam on one side and women's rights on the other, with Muslim women torn in the middle. From 1999 to 2013, one Danish journalist concluded that the majority of stories about Muslim women focused around negative images, things like female genital mutilation, things like honor killings, social control, things like forced wearing of headscarves. And what is this media image, these binaries that Muslim women are presented in? Well, we're either oppressed or we're complicit in our own oppression. We're either completely banished and removed from Muslim civil society, or we're hyper-visible in our niqabs and our cloaks and targets for attacks. We are either traditionally submissive or we are too loud when we talk about our oppression, but we are always in need of liberation. Funding is really important. We need Muslim communities to be able to feel safe, and for mosques, which are designated open spaces for prayer for anyone to come and use. These kinds of spaces need to be able to be protected from the kinds of threats that they are currently facing. We've seen 6 mosques defaced and broken into in Birmingham. We've seen it happen in Newcastle. We've seen it happen in Belfast. It is across the country.